In the last couple of lectures, we created a router state and we also serialized the router state data. So if I go to our application, here you will notice that in this store, along with auth state, shared state, courses state, and also the counter state. So if I go to this counter link, it will also load the counter state. So apart from these states, we also have a router state. And in this router state, we have the serialized data. So in the router state, we have two properties. Let me move it a little bit up. So here in the router state, we have two properties, state and navigation ID. And this state is the actual state which we have serialized. So if I expand this, in there, we have the URL, which is counter, we have params, and we have query params. If I go to courses page, this state will change. So now the URL is /courses, and here in this URL, we do not have any route parameter or any query parameter. So that's why here we have empty objects. But if I open one of the courses here, so let's say this Angular course, in that case, you will see that now the URL is /courses/course/ the ID of the selected course. And in the params object, we also have the ID property. Basically, this is the ID route parameter, and the value for that ID route parameter is this. And here in this route, if we also specify some query parameters, so for example, page equal 10 and limit equal 10. So for this route also, you will see we have this router state. In there we have the state property, and there you will see that now the URL is this URL, where we also have the query parameters like page and limit. And in the params object, you will see the ID route parameter, and in the query params object, you will see the page and limit query strings. Now we can read these values wherever we want in our Angular application. So for example, currently, in order to show the details of a selected course, so let's go back to the courses, and here if I select this course, it will show the details of that course. Okay, so here it is showing the details of the selected course. Now to show the details of this selected course, what we are doing is, in the course detail component, we are injecting an instance of activated route, and this activated route provides us the information about the currently active route, like the route parameter, query string, etc. So from the instance of this activated route, we are reading the value of the ID route parameter, and then we are passing that ID to this getCourseById selector. Now instead of doing it like this, what we are going to do is, here, since now we have a router state, we don't need this active route instance here. Okay, and we can also remove this line. And now we can directly read the ID route parameter from the currently active route using router state. And that we can also do inside this getCourseById selector. So instead of reading the ID route parameter from the currently active route in the component class, we can read it inside this getCourseById selector. And that will be the better approach. Because as we have learned before, the Angular component should only be responsible for UI logics. It should not be doing anything else like reading the route parameter or query string. So here what we are going to do is, we are going to remove this parameter from here. I'm not going to pass the ID parameter to this getCourseById selector. Now let's go to getCourseById selector. For that, I'll expand this state folder, and there we will go to the courses selector. And here I'm not going to pass any parameter. And in fact, what I can do now is, I can simply copy this selector. Okay, so I think I need to copy it till here. I can copy it from here, or I will cut it from here, and I can just assign it to this getCourseById variable. So since now we don't want to pass any parameter to this selector, we can directly create the selector using createSelector function. Earlier, we wanted to pass some parameter which we wanted to use inside this selector. That's why we wrapped it within a function and we returned it from there. But now, since we are not passing any parameter here to this getCourseById selector, we can directly create the selector using createSelector function. Now here from where we are going to get the course ID. For that, what we are going to do is, now we are going to create a selector for the router state. So here we have the router folder. In this router folder, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call it as router.selector.ts. Okay. Inside this, first we need to create a feature selector, and to create a feature selector, we need to use create feature selector. So I'm going to use it and I'm going to import it. To this create feature selector, we need to specify the state name. So here the state name is router, right? The state name which we have provided for router state is router. So that I'm passing here. And we also need to specify the type of this feature selector. Now remember that the type for this feature selector should be router reducer state. So it should be router reducer state. And we also need to import it from this NgRx router store. So we don't need to create this type by ourselves. It is provided by router store. And here also we need to specify what type of data it is going to return. So if you remember, in the last lecture, we created a type for the serialized data and we are calling it as router state URL, right? So this should be the type of this router reducer state. All right, so in this way, we have created a feature selector. Now let's go ahead and let's assign it to a variable and let's call it as get router state. Okay, so this is our feature selector. Now we are going to create a selector. So here I'm going to create a variable. I will call it as get router params. Now to create a selector, we use create selector method. Create selector function, and that we need to import from NgRx Store. To this, we need to pass two things. First, we are going to pass the feature selector, which in this case is get router state. And second, we need to pass a callback function. This callback function is going to receive the current state. In this case, it is going to receive the current router state. And if you remember, in the router state, we have two properties. First, we have a state property, and second, we have a navigation ID property. Now, to avoid any confusion, I'm going to call this parameter as router. Okay, so here we will say router dot state, and from there I want to get the params object, and that I want to return from here. All right, and let's also return this selector from here so that we can use it in other files. Sorry, it should be export, not return. Okay, and let's save the changes now in this file. Now let's go to the courses selector where we want to use the route parameters. So here what we can do is, as the second argument, here we can pass this getRouterParams selector. So here I'm going to pass getRouterParams, and for some reason it is not showing the intelligence. Okay, here it should be getRouterParams. So I think that was the mistake. All right, now let's try to get it again. So again, I'll try to type getRouterParams, and now the intelligence is showing this. Let's go ahead and let's import it and let's use it. So now what will happen is, now this callback function is getting the current state, and now it is also going to get the current router state. Okay, so let me call this as param, because here this get router params, it is going to return us the params object from the router state. So here I'm simply going to call it as params. Okay, and this is going to be of type params, and to use it we also need to import it from angular/router. And now this params, it is going to have an ID property. So here I can say params.id. And here we cannot use this ID like this. So what I'll do is I'll use curly braces here, and to that I'll pass the name of the route parameter whose value I want to read, and with that value I want to check if the course ID is equal to that ID which we have in the route parameter. Okay. With this, let's save the changes. Now let's go to CourseDetailComponent.ts, and here we don't need to even specify the parentheses. We can simply specify the selector name. Okay, let's save the changes. And with this, let's go to our application and let's see if the functionality is still working. So first of all, I'll go to courses page. So all the courses are loaded. Now, if I select, let's say, this Angular course, if I want to see the details of this Angular course, you see, it is showing me the details of Angular course. Let's go back. And if I click on the details button of JavaScript course, it is showing me the details of JavaScript course. Let's go back again. And if I click on the details of this Node.js course, it is showing me the details of Node.js course. So the functionality is still working. The only change which we have done is, instead of injecting an instance of activated route inside this class and then reading the route parameter, the ID route parameter from the activated route, now we are reading the route parameter from the router state. Okay. And also, now in our component class, we do not have any logic to read the route parameter. We are directly reading the route parameter in the selector itself, because inside this selector, we want to use the value of ID route parameter. So we can directly read it there from our router state. All right, now in the router selector, just like how we have created a selector for getting the route parameters, in the same way, I'm going to create two more selectors. First, to get query parameters. So here I'll call it as get query parameters or query params. Okay. And from here, I'm going to return this dot state dot query params. And the third one will be get router URL. So in case somewhere we want to use the URL of the currently active route, there we will use this get router URL selector. And from here, I want to return state.url. Okay, with this, the router selectors is complete. Now let's go back to our application one more time. And here, if I go to the details of a course, so for example, let's see, if I go to the details of this Angular course, you can see the details of that course. But if I try to come to this URL directly, so for example, if I go ahead and if I restart this page, so if I press enter here, now you will not see the course title or the course image or the author or the price of the course or even the description. Now, why is that? That's because since we are directly coming to this URL, if I open developer console, here let me first go to this console tab and you will see that we have an error and it says cannot read properties of undefined. Now, why do we have this error? Let me show you that. So for that, let's go to Redux DevToolKit, and there, if you see this courses state, in the courses state, the courses property is empty array. Now, why it is empty array? It is empty array because here we directly came to this URL. So we directly loaded the course detail component. But course detail component is dependent on courses component. Why? Because when the courses component will be loaded in the ngOnInit method of courses component. So let me open courses component actually to show you. So here if I go to courses component.ts, in this courses component file, inside this ngOnInit, we are loading all the courses. Now, since we directly went to the course detail component, there the course detail component was loaded, but courses component is still not loaded. And since the courses component is not loaded, this ngOnInit did not run. And since this ngOnInit did not run, it did not read all the courses from the backend database. And that's why here this courses is empty array. We do not have any courses inside this courses state. And because of that, we have this error. So one thing which we are going to do here is, let's go to course detail component. Okay, and first of all, let me format this document. Okay, so I want to show the details of the course only if course is available. So here I'm going to use ngIf directive. Okay, and here what we will do is I'm going to pass this expression. So we are going to check if the selected course is available, if it is not null or undefined. In that case, we want to show the details of the course. Otherwise, before this, I'm going to add another div. Okay, and on that, I'm going to use the same ngIf directive, but here I will check if the selected course is not available, if it is a falsy value. In that case, I'm simply going to show an h2 element saying cannot show course details for the selected course, something like that. Okay, with this, let's save the changes. Let's go to our application, and now it shows this message cannot show course details for the selected course. That's because currently this course array is empty. But if I go to the courses page first, so now all the courses will be loaded, and now you can see in the courses this array has some value. So if I expand it, you will see that this courses state has 3 courses, and from here if I go to the details of the course, so for example this Angular course, now it is showing the Angular course detail. So I hope this is clear. But if I try to come to this page directly, it will show us this message. Now if you want, you can also add some designing to this message. So for example, first of all, let me change the spelling mistake, and on this div I'm going to add a CSS class, and I'm going to call it as app no course. And for this, let's go ahead and let's add some CSS. So let's go to CourseDetailComponent.css, and let's scroll down, and here let's add some CSS. So first of all, I will add border, I'll add margin, let's add padding. Actually, let's increase the margin to maybe 30 and 100, and same thing I'll do here, 30 and 100. Let's see now how it looks, and now it looks better. One more thing which I can do is I can set text align to center, and now it looks better. All right, so this is all I wanted to cover in this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.